Hello. Before we begin, I would like to thank Barbara Stinson and Kelsey Terrell of the World Food Prize Foundation for inviting me to speak to you today. I also want to thank the Iowa State University College of Agriculture and Life Sciences for making this event possible. My name is Eric Mitchell, and I am the Executive Director of the Alliance to End Hunger. The Alliance is a coalition of companies, nonprofits, faith-based organizations, foundations, universities, and others. Our mission is to engage diverse institutions to build the public and political will to end hunger in the United States and abroad. Focusing on the public and political will means that we are not only ensuring that our elected officials know about the critical nature of food insecurity, nutrition, and agriculture issues, but the wider public knows that these issues are critical for the health and development of our global society. This couldn't be any truer than what we have witnessed as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's start with a little bit of context. Even before the COVID-19 crisis, there were 690 million undernourished people around the world, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. The leading causes of food insecurity included conflicts, adverse effects due to climate change, and political and economic turmoil. Malnutrition hits children especially hard. The Lancet estimates that nearly half of all deaths of children under the age of 5 are due to nutrition-related factors. Again, this was well before the COVID-19 crisis. Now, currently, FAO and the World Food Program estimates that an additional 270 million people are facing what is called acute food insecurity or worse. These are people that are not only malnourished, but are facing the prospects of emergency or even famine-like conditions. The Lancet further states that an additional 9.3 million children under the age of 5 are likely to suffer from acute malnourishment as a result of the pandemic. Why do we start with such bleak assessment? I know that many, if not all of you, are envisioning a career in food and agriculture. I wanted to start with these statistics to underscore that when you choose a career in food and agriculture, you are inserting yourself in an arena that is fundamentally about justice. Dr. Norman Borlaug, the father of the World Food Prize, is known to have stated that food is the moral right of all who are born into this world, and that the first essential component of social justice is adequate food for all mankind. So in other words, you can't have justice if there are those in our society who are still struggling to put food on the table. Food insecurity and malnutrition are often linked to other signs of inequality. Let's take a peek at our current crisis here in the United States. Families that are struggling with hunger tend to buy foods that are more affordable, yet are less nutritious. As a result, these same families struggle with higher obesity rates, high blood pressure, diabetes, and other chronic health conditions that put those struggling with COVID-19 at a much higher risk of severe complications. This is why addressing hunger is just as important in the COVID-19 response conversation as vaccination, job creation, and opening schools. This is why my own organization has urged the Biden administration and Congress to make food security a central pillar in the COVID-19 response, both in the United States and around the world. This is also why, as you make your way through your studies into your vocations in agriculture and food, that we need voices like yours speaking up on these issues. Now, what does it mean to speak up? It can mean a variety of things. For example, speaking up can mean that you can run with your passion for food and agriculture to start a movement that is making a difference. Within the Alliance to End Hunger, there are youth-led organizations within our membership. These are groups that who are committed to addressing hunger in their local communities and raise these issues and bring resources to those in need. All these organizations have built ways to connect food to those who need it in the United States. But speaking up doesn't mean you need to start your own organization. Speaking up also means advocacy. Now I know that advocacy can sound a bit of an intimidating word to some people, but advocacy can look different in many ways. For example, it could be a social media post that tags an elected official and describes an experience you had on a farm or in a food bank or in a food pantry. It could be a letter to the editor in your local newspaper that describes why issues of agriculture and nutrition are so important to you. It could be attending a local city council meeting to learn more about the local strategies to address food insecurity. And yes, it could also mean calling your member of Congress and your senator to ensure that they know that their voters care about these issues. So, what can you do today as a step towards putting your passion into action? I would urge you to approach the workshops and roundtable discussions following this session through a lens of advocacy and justice. In other words, I want you to approach every conversation and action that you have today with a question of how what we are talking about can be used as a mechanism to reach those struggling to make ends meet. One of the greatest things about being in an academic setting is that it gives you an opportunity to break down echo chambers and learn more about other interests through a variety of perspectives and approaches. This is a daily practice with organizations such as the Alliance that are based on coalition building. Our alliance builds partnerships between traditional advocacy and social justice organizations, faith-based and non-faith-based institutions, and even massive corporations. On the other side of the coin, we also build partnerships with small organizations across the country through our Hunger Free Communities Initiative, which not only brings in the perspective of smaller contexts, but also allows easier access to all important views of those with lived experiences with hunger. Hunger, malnutrition, and agriculture development are complex issues that require partnerships of not only organizations, but also thought and perspective. And before I finish, I want to leave you with a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This is a quote that was taken from the letter from the Birmingham jail. In the letter, Dr. King states that progress never rolls in on wheels of inevitability. In other words, it takes a collective action and advocacy to create a just society. So as I wrap up, just know that each of you have a role to play in your own way. As you think about your next step in life, and you will find that your expertise and your experience are invaluable, not only in your career, but to the genuine impact you can have on society as a whole. It is up to you to determine how you want to contribute. Thank you.